Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to announce you that this is a very special edition of our talk show. Well, first of all, I would like to thank the National Brukenthal Museum for having us here today. So, we are honored to have two important guests of the art world. It's about Einar and Jaimex de la Torre, known for the impressive artwork displayed in National Museum of Mexican Art in Chicago, Corning Museum of Glass in New York, and the Loewy Art Museum at the University of Miami. So the reason why they are here today is because they are currently included in the USA Department of State's special program Arts in Embassies, which supports temporary exhibitions of American artists throughout US embassies around the world. And this way, Arts in Embassies is a program which is currently the most active one of any other foundation or art organizations in the US. I would like to say welcome to you, welcome to Romania, welcome to Sibiu. Have you ever been before?
No, I have not been to Sibiu before.
Not in Sibiu, but in Romania?
Yes, in Romania a little bit. I arrived about a week and a half ago.
How is it Romania through the eyes of an artist?
Oh, it's terrific. Lots of material that will influence the future work, I believe. It's very, very, very beautiful.
We will talk about that later, about all the influences. So, I heard you visited Almavi today, right? How was it?
Yes, we saw the renovation of the church and the interest of the foundation in making it a destination, wonderful restaurant, and just the idyllic village life.
Did you have an impression about that? I mean, how did you find it?
Well, the drive is a very pretty drive, very picturesque countryside.
And just all of Transylvania is absolutely gorgeous.
Well, I would like to thank you for that. As a Romanian, you always have this good feeling when somebody talks nice about your country, because, as you know, Romanians have a different controversial image in the world. What is like to be an artist today? I would like to jump right to this question because it's a very important one. It's a question that it's addressed to the whole art world, but now you're standing in front of me. And it is a challenge to you, I bet. What is it like to be an artist in a digital world that has completely reshaped how art is produced, consumed, or sold?
Well, we use a lot of digital artwork ourselves to produce our collages and to produce our sculptures. I think specifically maybe the artificial intelligence coming into the picture paints a lot of complications for authenticity in the future, and I guess we're going to have to deal with them one at a time.
Yeah, and I think that for the moment, I'm not tremendously worried about it in terms of seeing ourselves as reinventing ourselves as we go, and maybe evolving is maybe a good word. Our work has to do that anyway, with digital or not, because I think you have to grow as a person and as an artist. But of course, it does pose some very problematic questions for the future of all creative people.
Well, it is a huge challenge, and you said very correctly that you have to reinvent yourself all the time. I think that adapting is the key to everything in general. So you joined this program, Arts in Embassies. Could you tell us more about the countries where you've been displayed through this program?
Well, we have work in the consulate in Monterrey, Mexico, that was purchased through the Art in Embassies. And other than that, it's here in this stint that we're doing here in Bucharest and today in Sibiu.
You both studied glass blowing at the California State University of Long Beach. What drew you into this medium of expression?
We went to the university to study sculpture, both of us, and the glass blowing just happened to be a class offered by the system of the art school. And we never really intended to be this involved with glass, but it's a very interesting craft because it tends to suck you in because it's such an obsessive craft. It's our favorite medium. We thoroughly enjoy working with hot glass.
And it's sort of a team helps you. So when you're working, you have other people around you. It's quite possible that's one of the reasons that we ended up collaborating as artists, is that when we were blowing glass at university, when you had the hot seat, so to speak, the other blowers would help you make your work, and you would help them too when they made their work. And I think that that was already a level of collaboration that happens when you have a team helping you make your work.
How important do you feel heritage is in your artwork?
Very important. I think we're very lucky that we were originally born in Mexico, and we also grew up in the United States, so we grew up on both sides. And I think as visual artists, both countries have a ton to offer that we can draw from, that we can steal from our own heritages.
And also, I think that to a certain point, all artwork has some self-reference, reference to the artist. So, of course, heritage is what could be more self-referential than heritage.
I see. I would like to ask you about your artwork specifically. I would like to know what is that inspires you the most, and mostly what is the message that you like to generally send to the viewers that see your artwork?
Well, it varies greatly in terms of content and thematically as well. But in general, I would like the viewers to feel free to take their own message instead of being very worried about what our message is. We do give them an idea of what we're talking about. There's a lot of visual iconography that you can hold on to and maybe start creating narratives from that. But I want viewers to also allow themselves to make their own interpretations, because after all, the artwork has to exist without the didactic stuff as well.
We do take great care to imbue the works with content, and sometimes contradictory content. But at the same time, if a viewer comes to our artworks and just has an aesthetic experience, we're totally okay with that. I think if we affect the person deeply that way too, it's, I think, very much okay with us.
I would like to ask a maybe difficult question or not. I'm sure you do get inspiration from your traveling and everything. I was wondering if you incorporated elements from your travels in your artwork, and I would like to ask you, where exactly do you feel there is a borderline between being inspired by different cultures and copying specific elements? Because you know there are so many scandals about it, and nobody knows where is that fine line, and how would you how do you see this should go?
So I think that's two separate questions, so I would maybe start with one. Meaning you talk about appropriation, which is incorporating other cultures or other. I'll start with that. I think that appropriation has been, maybe in the contemporary context, has been maligned too much because everything comes from somewhere else and its influences. But there is a very big difference between being inspired by something and copying it. Copying it is a kind of base and not very deep, because all it is making that copy, you know, exactly. But to be inspired by something, to make something, you have to make something new. In other words, you have to make it your own and have your own voice come through it. And it's not easy, because of course, if you're inspired by the wonderful art of, say, you know, any ancient culture, you have to somehow have a voice that comes through as something new being said. Otherwise, a reinterpretation. Otherwise, you're just, again, the idea of it becoming something new, something perhaps taking the contemporary moment in order to look into the future. So there's always futurism in that way, that we're always looking towards the future based on the past.
There's the quote attributed to Picasso, a good artist steal, mediocre artists copy. And when you think about that, the quote is not that easy to understand, because it's not that easy to really steal, meaning it's not that easy to make it your own. When you steal it, you are making it speak about your own human condition, and that's why it's not easy. Copying is really quite easy to do, if you get my drift.
And the other question that you had was about when we travel, we do love to, everywhere we go, we shoot a lot of pictures because a lot of our lenticular work is a photo pastiche or a collage, if you will, of photos. So we always are getting, sometimes we get images because of their visual textural content. So it's like a library of images. Sometimes even the postcards, we cut out buildings and put them on. But when it comes to actually using the culture that we are visiting, we tend to do that more when we are doing a residency, meaning we're here for a little while, we're learning a little more about the culture, and we do some research, we read, and we go to the museums, and we try to incorporate some of what we see into our work, even though it's superficial in that we're only here a little while. We might do that. We feel better about it when we're somewhere a little longer if we're going to start responding to the culture that's local.
Well, that's a point of view. That's a point of view. I'm thinking about the young people that look at us right now, and I'm sure that many of them feel that they have this attraction to arts and to create and everything. And I would like to ask you, what was the exact moment in your childhood when you knew you are an artist, and what is the thing that validates you? Because if you're talking about studies and diplomas, those are just proof of one's discipline. But I would like to ask you, where's the exact moment when you know you're an artist, or talented artist for that matter?
Interestingly, we've been going through the same question the last 3 days because we've been talking to groups of young artists, and yes, it's when do you understand that you're an artist? I mean, there's a point when we're younger, when we're teenagers, we knew that we wanted to become artists, but when do you really become an artist, right? So it's a very difficult and subjective question to answer yourself, to your own, and I think you make a choice to pursue what you deep down need to pursue. In a way, you have to give yourself the permission to do that, because obviously it's a huge challenge to pretend to want to be an artist to begin with.
And to make a living out of it, yes, right? Yeah.
Which, and to the point of validation, I mean, yes, there's the academic system, which is the schooling, and there is self-taught artists. There is no necessarily more validity to one or the other, but I think it has to do a little bit with what we like to say is that the artist exhibits their work to learn about what they made. And what I mean by learning is learning by listening to the public, because after all, your artwork in your home is your own personal experience and is insular, and you need to hear what other people are seeing in the work, are feeling in the work, and by listening to that, I think you grow as an artist. Indeed, I think you those reactions become part of your experience of making art, and of course validate your sense of worth, because you see how you're affecting people in an emotional way.
Yes, true. I also feel art is about emotions. You can get anger, disgust, or happiness, whatever. It's about emotion. It's about creating emotions and putting emotions in people's eyes and souls. So when they see your art, no matter if they're angry or dissatisfied or disgusted or whatever, that means you created something. I do believe so. It's about emotions. I thought about that. Is there any particular Romanian artist that catch your attention? Maybe somebody you admire? I don't know. Maybe have you ever been inspired by a Romanian artist? I don't know.
We have seen. I mean, there are artists in this room that we find the work very, very powerful, and I don't recall the name right now, but it's
sculptors. Brancusi, of course, always comes to mind, and as a significant.
Have you ever been to Timișoara, by the way?
I was last week. Really? Yes, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful.
So Brancusi you like?
Yes, yeah.
Is there a message you would like to send to the people, to the Romanian young people especially? Because there are, the statistics show there are more and more young people interested in arts. So doesn't matter if it's about fashion, about design, about creating, about painting, about everything. People start to be more interested in arts, and all of this social media influence and influencers and everybody having this making pictures in the most inspiring way. It's almost like a competition on social media, right? Everybody is an artist nowadays. Do you have a message for them?
Well, I think that I would say that if you believe you have something to say, stick to it. But keep evolving. You're always going to be better. Even if you think that you're good, you're going to be better. A big part of success has to do with longevity in the field. Meaning you have to keep working hard, exhibiting, keep showing, and sometimes it's difficult to continue. But you have to believe in yourself and believe in other friends, so that you have a network of other artists that you believe and trust in. We have one built in that we work together, and we have a little bit of that. We help each other, and especially when we were younger and needed to see how we would get through and you know, have the long range view. So a lot of it has to do with sticking to it.
What is a future project that you're maybe currently working on? Is there anything specific?
Well, we also work a lot with public art, which are commissions, usually commissioned by cities or airports, and we have 3 in the works right now that are going to keep us pretty busy the next year. And late next year, we have an important project for us in Mexico City that we're looking forward to, that we still have to develop.
And right now we have a couple of museum exhibitions traveling in the United States, with one with the National Museum of the American Latino, which is a Smithsonian museum. That's the one that's in Corning, New York right now. It's going to go to 2 more museums, so it's going to be 7. It's got a full catalog, and we also have an exhibition at the McName Museum in Texas right now that is...
Sounds like a lot of traveling. Is there a country you would like to be in the next 6 months, let's say, to get some inspiration from? What is the most inspirational culture for you, one of the most powerful cultures around the world that gets you the most inspired in your artwork? You don't have to agree.
We would go to any country, pretty much.
And still find something.
Yeah, all culture is fascinating on some level. I think that maybe the not obvious ones, because if you want to talk about, you know, Italy and the Romans, and I mean the history is kind of overwhelming, but it's also obvious, and everybody knows it. I mean the influence and just the buildings of the Western world are Greco-Roman everywhere, you know, which is fantastic and super heavy, but sometimes other countries that you don't think of right away are hidden gems that have a lot to say. It just you need to visit.
Are you going to be in Romania for much longer? No, oh, such a short trip. Such a short trip. You didn't get to see anything, and we have so much more to show you. But anyway, we were happy to have you here, and I am happy to have you here today. I would like to thank you very much for having this conversation with me. I really do hope that some young people who watched us got some answers or maybe some clue about you know, it's important to have opinion from real good artists to see where you're going and to get some ideas about your future. And I also believe that you will stay with us for our next program. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and hope to see you soon. And please follow us on our Facebook page and Instagram, on social media. I'm Diana. Have a great evening.